My Little Teddy Bear's Weekend Adventure. Once upon a time, in a cheerful little town, there lived a girl named Sophie. Sophie had a very special friend, a small, cuddly teddy bear named Mr. Buttons. Mr. Buttons wasn't an ordinary teddy bear, he had a tiny golden heart sewn onto his chest, and Sophie believed it gave him magical powers. While others thought Mr. Buttons was just a toy, Sophie knew better. She knew he was her best friend and her partner in every adventure. One sunny Saturday morning, Sophie woke up excited. It was the weekend. She quickly grabbed Mr. Buttons and said, "Today's going to be a big adventure, Mr. Buttons. Let's go to the park." Sophie packed her favorite snacks, a bottle of lemonade, and a colorful kite into her bag. She placed Mr. Buttons carefully on top so he could peek out and see the world. With a big smile, she ran downstairs, told her mom where she was going, and skipped out the door toward the park. The park was full of laughter, sunshine, and the happy sounds of children playing. Sophie laid out a picnic blanket under a big shady tree. "Now, Mr. Buttons," she whispered, "let's see where our adventure will take us today." As Sophie spread out her snacks, she noticed something shiny in the grass. She picked it up. It was a tiny golden key. What could this open? Sophie wondered, holding it up to Mr. Buttons. "Do you think it's magical?" Mr. Buttons seemed to nod, or at least, Sophie imagined he did. She decided to follow the key's mystery. "Let's go exploring," Sophie exclaimed, tucking the key into her pocket and holding Mr. Buttons tightly. They walked along the park's winding paths until they reached a wooden bridge that crossed over a sparkling stream. Sophie stopped when she noticed a small wooden box hidden in the bushes near the bridge. "Look, Mr. Buttons. Maybe the key opens this." She pulled out the golden key, and it fit perfectly into the lock. Click! The box opened to reveal a rolled-up map and a note. The note read, "To the brave adventurers, follow the map to find the secret garden and the magical treasure hidden within." Sophie's eyes sparkled with excitement. "A treasure hunt," she exclaimed. She rolled out the map, and Mr. Buttons sat on her lap as she studied it. The map showed a path leading deeper into the park, past the swings, through the flower garden, and over a small hill. "Let's go, Mr. Buttons," Sophie said, her heart racing with joy. Together, they followed the map. Along the way, they met some friendly animals. A curious squirrel chattered at them from a tree, and Sophie shared a piece of her sandwich with him. A family of ducks waddled beside them near the stream, and Sophie laughed as the ducklings quacked happily. Finally, they reached the small hill. Sophie clung to the top, holding Mr. Buttons tightly. On the other side of the hill, she saw something amazing, a hidden garden filled with the brightest, most colorful flowers she had ever seen. Butterflies danced through the air, and a gentle breeze carried the sweet scent of blossoms. In the center of the garden was a sparkling chest. Sophie ran toward it, her heart pounding with excitement. She opened the chest and gasped. Inside was a crown made of golden leaves, a wand that glittered with stars, and a tiny book titled The Magic of Friendship. Sophie placed the crown on Mr. Buttons' head and held the wand in her hand. She opened the book, and as she read the first page, the words shimmered and sparkled. The book explained that the real magic of the treasure was the power of imagination, kindness, and sharing adventures with friends. Sophie smiled. "You're my treasure, Mr. Buttons," she said, hugging her little teddy bear tightly. "This adventure wouldn't have been the same without you." She spent the rest of the afternoon in the magical garden, reading the book, twirling the wand, and imagining new adventures. As the sun began to set, she knew it was time to go home. She carefully placed the book and wand back into the chest, leaving them for the next brave adventurer to find. As Sophie walked home, Mr. Buttons safely tucked in her arms, she couldn't stop smiling. The day had been filled with magic, laughter, and love. And she knew that as long as she had her imagination, and Mr. Buttons by her side, every day could be an adventure. And so, Sophie and her little teddy bear lived happily ever after, dreaming of the many adventures yet to come. The end.